Hello YouTube. So this is probably another one of the videos I'm never going to release, but I am going to record it because I think if I only share videos or moments of my life when I'm happy and positive, that doesn't necessarily have the whole complete picture of what my life or my thoughts are actually like. And so, for example, I am going to share something very personal with you today, because I have been crying for the past 3 hours, and the reason why I have been crying is because I've put myself through the misery of watching some judges' comments on the X Factor auditions on YouTube. And you might think, okay, there is definitely worse and more legitimate reasons to cry than because of some stupid videos online. However, I don't watch TV. I don't read newspapers. I don't listen to the radio. So I do not really come in contact that often with how cruel human beings can be to one another, because I know that it would upset me to a degree to which I couldn't deal with it, and that's why I just completely shield myself from it. So I sort of only interact with the outside world in ways in which are positive and which bring acceptance, love, creativity, all good things that, you know, interactions with other people can bring. And I try to avoid putting myself in situations that make me or anyone around me miserable and sad and upset. And so watching X Factor auditions tonight was definitely the wrong choice, because I couldn't stop crying, and the reason why I couldn't stop crying is because of how harsh people can be to one another, and how awful and cold those judges are. Mind you, I was watching the X Factor Global and some of the X Factor UK and some of the X Factor US. That's what I was watching, and I know that some people are awful and they can't sing for shit, for sure. But there is ways about going about those things that don't destroy the very soul of that person who has already had so much courage to go and present themselves in front of people who are literally there to judge them. Like, can we just take a second to acknowledge that that person already probably has more courage than 99% of people who are just sitting there watching it behind a screen? That person is out there putting themselves and everything that they are out to be judged. And of course, I know it's the judge's role to say no if someone isn't good enough in their opinion, but they are mean and they are cold and heartless, and they make fun of another human being in ways in which adult representatives of an industry should never do. It's not dignified, is unbecoming, and is cheap entertainment. And what makes me so angry and so upset is the fact that we, all of us, every single person that watches this on YouTube, on the TV, whatever, we all perpetuate this because we consume this entertainment, and we consume random strangers' feelings being destroyed in the public eye for our own entertainment and for our own pleasure, to have something to talk about over dinner. And I hate it, and I hate watching it, and that's probably one of the reasons why I never watch TV and any sort of shows of this kind. But it destroyed my spirit a little bit tonight. And I think people who are at the top of each industry, so, you know, people like Simon Cowell and the likes, people who have worked so hard their entire lives to be where they are in their careers, they should be an example of grace and kindness and compassion. And I think if you're a good leader, there is ways in which you can deliver negative feedback, and there's ways in which you can rebut people without making them feel like they're nothing, without making them feel like they're less than zero. I think that's a trait that any good leader, which is what those people are, which is what those judges are, should have. They should know how to criticize or deliver feedback without destroying someone else. And moreover, those shows are completely dehumanizing. When we make fun, when we watch it and we make fun behind our screens of someone who can't sing or can't dance or whatever, and we make it a subject of conversation amongst ourselves, we forget that there's a real person there that's doing this, and the way we criticize them destroys them and makes them hate life. And that's awful, because yeah, we live in a society that is so competitive, and we are constantly being told that there's not enough of anything. There's not enough jobs, there is not enough food, there is not enough money, there is not enough talent, there is not enough space. And it's all lies. It's all about our perception and how we collectively as a species choose to perceive certain events and choose to interact with one another. And if we come to one another from a place of lack, then there's always going to be this horrible mentality of constant judgment and putting down and pointing fingers and trying to make someone less so that we can seem to be more. And by doing that, we refuse to acknowledge the basic truth that we are all equal and that we are all talented and we deserve to have our dreams come true, whatever those dreams may be, and however unrealistic those dreams may seem to anyone but ourselves. We deserve to have those dreams come true and to have those dreams in the first place. And it is unbecoming of anyone who's at the top of any industry to criticize regular people in ways in which the X Factor judges do. So yes, that was my rant, and I can see that was 9 minutes long, so apologies for that. But I did want to share my thoughts, and I don't only want to be sharing the good moments, because when I decided to make a YouTube channel, finally, a few months ago, I promised you that I would be as honest as I can with you in any given moment, and that's how I feel at the moment. So do let me know whether what I've just said resonates with you, whether it's something that you also feel or think, or whether I'm completely off track and you don't agree with anything that I've said. I'm very curious to hear your opinions if I do choose to release it, which is a big if. But if you are watching this, that means I have. So I am putting myself out in the open to be judged and criticized for crying because of a fucking X Factor audition of people that I don't know and have never met in my life, and quite frankly don't give a fuck about. But this is the reaction that I've had. So yeah, I guess let's have a conversation. Tell me what you think.